Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Namaste Lake Chapala. And welcome to this amazing day, the great conjunction, the first time this conjunction has ever happened in almost 800 years. And as you already know, the last time it happened was right before St. Francis left his body. And here we are again, initiating a new way of living, a new renaissance. Francis is often given credit for inspiring this great era of art and inspiration from a very dark age. That him taking the message of the incarnation seriously, living it out in dramatic, beautiful ways, inspired all the great artists and poets and writers, musicians of medieval Europe, which ultimately led to this great renaissance. And we have often said that what we need today is a new renaissance, a new revelation, and leading us from this dark age that we seem to find ourselves in into a new way of being. And so this great conjunction today is just a beautiful way of seeing that and allowing that. So welcome. And as you know, this evening, we're going to be celebrating that with a performance of the one-man musical called A Franciscan Christmas Story that I wrote while I was on tour earlier this year performing the Brother, Sun, Sister Moon musical. I had intended to be on tour right now, sharing it all over North America, but obviously there were other plans, and here we are. But to be able to share it tonight, I think, during this great conjunction is an even greater idea. So I hope all of you can make it. We're going to be using this as a part of our fundraising effort here for Namaste. So it'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you should have already received an email regarding that. But for now, let's dive right in. We're going to look at another lesson from this collection called The Impersonal Light. So let me read what we have here today, and then we'll have a short discussion. Here we go. The mind we share created and maintains the entire universe, but you have made yourself so small you cannot see this. That's a very powerful opening sentence. The mind that we share, or the mind that is true, that you share with the I am, which is all that is, the mind we share created and maintains the entire universe. That's how incredible and all pervasive that single mind is, which is in you now. But, and here's the key, this is where we speak to the split mind, the ego consciousness. You have made yourself so small, you can't see this. You've been hiding. You've been hiding from who you really are, which is what we hear next. You reduced yourself in order to hide from the love that created you. That sounds insane, doesn't it? To hide from the love that created you? Believing that you had accomplished the impossible. In your hiding, that you've accomplished the impossible, separating yourself from the inseparable. But what's impossible remains impossible forever. You can't separate from everything. And the simple realization that this is true is the beginning of that journey back. This is when the prodigal son finally says, even my father's servants eat better than I. I'll return. I'll go home. And that's what we're doing now. We have begun this great return. But this only occurred, this idea of separation only occurred in your imagination, and therefore it never really happened at all. Now, you've come to the point where you can see who I am and know that we are the same. Remember, this is the I am consciousness within you speaking to you directly. Now you have come to the point where you can see who I am and know that we are the same. What is forever true in my mind is forever true in yours, regardless of the petty attempts to prove otherwise. And they were petty. You failed before the thought of separation even entered your mind. The planets, The stars, galaxies that you see through a telescope seem to be separated by vast distances. But what if I told you that the entire universe could rest in the palm of your hand? Would that be hard for you to believe? You know, I think it's interesting that Julian of Norwich, this amazing anchoress who lived in the 15th century, when she was first having her visions or her showings, one of the things that Jesus showed her is there was a hazelnut. And Jesus said the entire universe can fit in this tiny hazelnut. Very similar to what we just heard. And also, scientists today have said that if you take all the matter in the whole universe, take out all the space that separates that matter, and you were to bring that matter all together, it would fit in the palm of your hand. That's how much space there is and how little actual matter there is. If you reduced it all, it would be smaller than you can imagine. And that's exactly what we're hearing here today. And it goes on by saying, would that be hard for you to believe? This is what you'll discover if you follow me into the experience I have been describing. That which seems unimaginably large will suddenly appear as a speck of dust. And that which was utterly small becomes as vast as the universe you think you see. Everything gets turned around. That which is so small becomes the greatest, and that which seems so great becomes the smallest. And that is also a perfect Christmas message as we celebrate this vulnerable baby being born in a feeding trough, this vulnerable child completely unable to protect itself. And yet within that small child was the vastness of the entire universe, the Christ. And it's the same for you. Within you is that same child, and within you is that same vastness. But you have chosen in this ego consciousness to make yourself so small, to hide from that. It doesn't even matter why at this point. All that matters is that you recognize that and step into the light. Okay, one more little bit here. I'm not saying that there are no planets, stars, or galaxies, but that the truth within you is greater and vaster than they will ever be. The truth within you was never born and can never die. The truth within you extends forever and forever still. The mind you think with was made not to understand this, just as the eyes you think you see with were made not to see what I am looking upon this and every moment. Choose to think with my mind, the I am consciousness, and see through my eyes, and you will understand exactly what I am saying. So that which seems so small becomes as vast as the universe itself, and that which seems so great, so powerful, is reduced to nothing, because it is nothing, and yet you are everything. Within you, everything dances. There is this dance that is always going on within you if we would but open our eyes to see and participate. We have to throw off our coat and start dancing. That's all we're here to do, is to dance with the eternal. And this is a very auspicious day to do that. So I'm so glad you're all here. And now, dear Vicky, I'm going to turn it over to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, everybody. Well, I am beyond excited today. You know, maybe over nothing, but I feel like it's been 9 months since March that we've been doing these calls, that Corona has kind of taken the spotlight, and we have all been asked to stay home. And this time of inner awakening, whatever you call it, transformation, revolution, the time of inner readiness to live under the one law of love has been given to us. The readiness, the everyday joining, the everyday quiet offered all of us, all over time and space, not just those with any particular spiritual tradition. But I feel like, when you talk about the rehearsals, the going over everything, the costume, the setups, we've been doing it all. But today is the beginning of showtime. Today is the day where we're not reading the book, where we don't live by the letter of the law, but that we are the living book. We have to be the living book. It doesn't matter what tradition we use, traditional or non traditional, none of that matters. The law of truth is the law of love. And how are we made available to live under the law of love? Everyone is. That law, it covers everything and everyone. It's the law of Christ holiness. It's the law of unity. But where are we not available to live in it is what you started off with today. Where are we hiding? And today, and for me, I'm dedicating this week. I told Teddy, big time. I'm in it 100% because I want to be the living book. I We need to be it for ourselves, for our brothers and sisters. So where am I hiding? And Jimmy, just like you said, oh, I have, what did you say? Some sniffle, some allergies. There are no allergies. My cholesterol went up. I had a test. And I think, oh no, what do you mean? That's where I'm hiding.
It's all my fault.
It's all Teddy's fault. Every Where are we hiding? And that's what I'm looking at today, because the law is already stable. It doesn't need me to say it's yay or nay. It only needs me to be willing to live under its beneficence. And where I'm hiding is where I have self-will still. And
Mhm.
it seems to be in a particular form. It may seem to come out as blame to someone else. It may seem to come as a disease to a body. It may seem to come as no interest or loss of passion or loss of whatever. But what isn't love isn't.
Mm.
But I need to find those hiding places and be diligent and vigilant and take responsibility and own them. And just like Jesus does say, bring everything to the Holy Spirit. This is my gift to the Holy Spirit. And this is my work today and all this week, because I believe, Jesus, we are in the awakening to love's presence. And I want to remove all those blocks, but I can't do it. All I can do is be willing to recognize where I have willed for separation, where I have willed to stay apart, and no longer will for that anymore. So, all the signals of what upsets me, what makes me sick, whatever it is, those are signals of where I'm hiding, and I refuse to hide today anymore. And I'm bringing them all to the Holy Spirit very simply, because this great big energy of this great second coming and awakening boils down to just each one of us accepting accepting the full correction for ourselves. So I'm on fire with that today.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for Francis's show tonight and for the love that the inspiration that's available always through you, Jimmy, and all our brothers and sisters here and everywhere that we look, because finally we're seeing the eyes that see the love everywhere and offer it everywhere. So that's it.
Thank you.
That's
You know, you always say these simple little things, like a few words that just hit it right in the button. And what you said today, which is so clear and so succinct, is what isn't love isn't. What isn't love isn't. If we could just rest in that, then the experience that we keep speaking about would spring forward on its own, because we would dismiss anything that isn't and accept only love. And that's all this is about, is choosing only love in all of its infinite manifestations right here, right now. And we do that by not hiding, not trying to claim or to cling, but just to flow with that love. We talk about jumping into the river and just being taken by the current. That's what we're talking about. That's the experience. So let's turn to Teddy and see what he has to share.
Thanks, Jimmy. And I don't know if Deborah Gold's on today, but Deborah Gold took that sentence and ran with it for years. What isn't love isn't. She burned it in my heart. So if you're here, Deborah, thank you. Here you go, Teddy.
Morning, Ted.
Morning. Well, something that you said is was instrumental in me understanding that Jesus did know everything past, present, and to come. First of all, what Vicky was saying, our a priori existence is what love is. Everything else is just a byproduct of the idea of separation. And separation is what duality is. So there's got to be something opposite to love. But what isn't love doesn't exist. But one of the things, when you said the whole thing about the scientists have come down to the fact that if you took all the matter in the universe, it would be only a speck of dust. When Jesus said, all you have to do is remove the speck of dust from your eye and you would see, I knew when I heard that, and I heard the scientists say that the universe was a speck of dust, I knew that Jesus was preparing everyone for the time when the scientists would finally make the statement to prove that he knew what the hell he was talking about. So, and that was a big step. That was a big thing for me, because when I heard that, when I realized that, I said, wow, he really did know everything past, present, and to come. He did, just as it says he did. He did. And the simple fact is the reason why we think we do, because we're confused as to what we are. We think we're a body. We think that life comes based when we're born into a body, and it's over when the body is gone, and none of that is true. That's it. That's the bottom line. We're not a body. We're free. We're still as God created me, and the me that He created is a priori, and the me that He created was from His whole mind, and He's only love. It gets really simple when you sort of look at it that way. But I am going to make a statement. I'm saying there's no planets out there. There's nothing out there. Outside of me, there is nothing. And all we are is the love of God extending. And the understanding of that we can be prepared by all these words. But when the experience comes, we're in a state of wonder, wondering how the hell we believe that there was something other than reality and love, and why we believe that speck of dust instead of what we were being told and shown from the very beginning. So that's pretty much it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful when we can reduce it to something that is also on one hand, completely significant, on the other hand, completely nothing. A speck of dust. All the
Exactly.
all of it. And because it's all space, there's nothing really there. And therefore it could all be reduced to that, this tiny little thing, which we can dismiss in an instant. What isn't love isn't, and we cling only to that. You guys don't want to share anything else?
Yeah, the thing is this, and I wrote a thing on this a few weeks ago. The whole problem comes down to people actually think nothing is something.
Yeah.
People think nothing is something, and it's not. It's the absence of everything. That's it. There is nothing there. There's nothing.
We think that by giving up nothing, we've lost something.
Exactly. I know. It's crazy.
But we've bought into that. The perception is literally that belief. To give up nothing,
Right.
you've lost something. No, you've lost.
Exactly. You've lost nothing. There's not, right. I know. Nothing is the absence of anything.
I love looking at it like that, and when you can see just how insane the idea of separation by such a
Absolutely.
wow.
It is. It's really funny. And that's the whole thing. We remember not to laugh. That's it.
Well, thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Teddy. Another great beginning to our session.